I guess this is kind of wrapping it up. Arnaldo, how many countries are you in currently in Latin America, and how many employees does that encompass?
Well, including the headquarters for Latin America in Miami, we're in 11 countries. Um, Mexico, Brazil, we're just reactivating Argentina, the Andean region, Colombia, Peru, Chile, and then Central America, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Panama, Nicaragua, and we have about 250 employees, of
Wow.
which 11 are lawyers. So that kind of gives you an indication of how complicated the legal environment is.
And that
And
probably
that's,
doesn't even include the regulatory people dealing with all the laws in those countries and the taxes.
yeah, yeah, where there's additional support out of the head office in St. Louis.
Amazing. And so,
Because
and so besides Latin America, now everybody knows you for Latin America, but you know, you're in more than just in Latin America. How many other countries are you, or what regions are you in as well with CSI?
Well, CSI, has the largest geographic footprint of any independent lessor. We're in 36 markets globally where we have a local presence. Of course, North America, US, Canada, all the countries that I mentioned in Latin America. We're in Europe, the five main markets, Germany, UK, France, Italy, Spain. In Eastern Europe, Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, and we do a lot of cross-border business into the Nordics and to all of the EU countries in general. And then in Asia, we have CSI subsidiaries in China, in Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, and via our parent company, Tokyo Century, we, of course, do business in Japan. We can support transactions in Japan through their joint ventures in the Philippines, as well as in Taiwan and in Thailand.
Gotcha.
So it's pretty extensive global coverage.
Looking back on it,
Oh, and I didn't mention Taiwan, I think.
Taiwan.
So,
Okay. Looking back on it, when you first left Brooklyn, ended up in hopscotching to Swiss, and then over to El Camino in your first entree into Mexico. Did you ever think there would be a day that you would be in, what, 30 plus odd countries?
no, I had absolutely no idea. That's why I'm having so much fun. I'm like totally thrilled.
Well, I could always tell that. One thing that anybody will find if they ever talk to Arnaldo or meet Arnaldo, he's probably got one of the best personalities, most positive individuals I've ever met in my life, and a joy to be around. And as you could tell, it is an infectious laugh. He's just an infectious, magnetic person that you kind of want to hang around, let me tell you. Arnaldo, I thank you so much for your time. I think this is a real treat to really see and talk with a true trailblazer who is under the age of 80. And a wealth of information, a great inspiration for a lot of young people coming up in our industry as well. And CSI, just one of the most fantastic companies. Full disclosure, I've worked for CSI for roughly 4 years, and just great people, very progressive. And, there's just no challenge that you aren't up to. And I think your whole attitude has always been, your challenges have always turned out to be blessings in disguise.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But, I'll mention just one thing on Latin America. The market has changed a lot. So it's a lot more competitive today than it was when we started because, obviously we had an early mover advantage.
Sure.
And then we had this tremendous opportunity of bringing over talent, and that gave us a lot of momentum. But when I look back now at some of the companies that have started up after us, I see that some of them have payback periods of 5 and 6 years, and you can look this up for yourself, because if you go to a Bell, you can see the results of the companies, and you can see how long they've been losing money.
Sure.
So just the word of caution for anyone who would want to get into that market now, because it's a lot different.
And I imagine the banks there are also now sophisticated. You've taught them. You've taught them everything they know, and they're probably getting into the business too. So yeah, and now you have relationships with a lot of the big banks that they're getting into it. So I get that completely, and yeah, it's always sounds sexy to want to move to into Latin America, but what people don't realize is how hard it really was, right?
Yeah, and timing is important.
Sure.
We had timing on our side when we did it.
Got it. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your evening. I don't know what time is it there? You're 6 hours ahead of us. It's 7 o'clock at night or something like that.
It's about 8.
About 8 o'clock at night. Yeah, in Barcelona, Spain. So we're catching him at his house. So thank you so much for your time, Arnaldo, and look forward to talking again. I'm sure if some of our viewers have questions, I'll post them along to you and let you answer them. Okay?
Sounds great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it too. Thank you.